Alright, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm JustMoparJoe. I've been making good progress on my race car, and I almost went to test and tune last Friday night, but it got rained out, and I thought I was ready. It turned out my new seal on my rear end, I leaked about a cup of fluid out after I put a new seal in. I went ahead and bought a new yoke since then, and my new yoke was like 30 thousandths larger diameter than the old yoke. So I'm thinking quite possibly that someone had maybe ground that down or something. I put the new yoke in, it solved that leak. I walked out basically the day of the test and tune and had a quart of transmission fluid in the floor, and that was from when I put the old dipstick back in. It had a little pinhole or some kind of goofy leak, so I've got a new dipstick put in since then also. What I'm doing right now, if you'll remember, I did a compression test on this engine, just cylinders 1 and 2, when I had it on the engine run stand a while back, and I wrote those numbers down. This side was 170, that side was 165, and I had a guy the other day ask me how it had changed, and I said, I don't know, I haven't checked it. I really haven't had a reason to check it. I know a lot of guys are very anal about their stuff and want to know, you know, if you have an issue later or something, you could say, well, it's down on compression, this cylinder or that cylinder. I haven't had any issues to speak of, except for, you know, my converter was too tight, so I put a new one in. So I figured right now I will run another compression check on cylinders 1 and 2, and we'll see the difference since we had our whatever 30 pulls on the dyno and today at the racetrack. But the main reason for today's video was actually going to be I want to check the new converter stall. I'm going to set the GoPro up and film the tachometer. I'm not going to film the road. I'm not going to film or the racetrack or Mexico or wherever we're at. We'll see how it changes since the last time. I would really like it to flash to about at least 4,500. 47 would probably be better. 5,000 probably be the max, but whatever it is, I want to test it at the racetrack too. But getting a little baseline before I leave is a good idea to me, because I'd like to know be sure the transmission still shifts 1, 2, 3. I got any new noises, vibrations, any of that. Just a quick drive down the road will determine that for me. This is looking to be a medium pain in the butt. Okay, so I stuck it in number 8 because number 2 was being a major pain in the butt. So we'll see what number 8 is instead. Makes my life easier, and I can finally get my car off here and drive down the highway. I will not turn the fuel on or any of that. I can open the carburetor just a little bit and make it breathe easier. No power on, anything like that. There you go. Looks like it's between 165 to 170. So basically exactly what it was after I ran it the very first time on that run stand. I didn't really expect it to change much. Let's check the other side. Yeah, number 1's been a lot more cooperative. It was 165 in the original video, so if you want to go check that out, it was the first time I ever started this engine on my little run stand, which I'll be starting up our 508 soon on. So I can't get it turned around, and there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Barely over 175. So number 1 cylinder did pick up a little bit more. That's nice. Some things that might affect that. Valve lash. I know I ran that engine, or I ran this engine did this compression test before I relashed the valves, so they could have been a little bit looser as well, but the other side is about 170, this is 175, so everything's good. It's a fairly mild cam, hydraulic roller cam, y'all know all about that. But I can put my plugs back in, let this thing down, and warm it up. I will brag on this engine. I have not ever had an engine that started as quickly as this does. And I realize it's like somewhat low compression at 10 to 1, but I mean, just, you know, 3/4 of a spin most of the time, a rotation of the crank, and it fires off, and it'll set and idle. It doesn't act like it has any kind of large cam at all. You know, it idles within 30 seconds of running, so hopefully I can show you that here in just a second. Let me get my plug wires back in. All right, we stone cold off the lift. After I get this thing running, I need to finish filling the transmission, check for leaks, all that, before we check the stall. But I'm gonna try to get my camera set up over here. Bring her all down some. You can see that crankshaft. Also where it won't fall in whenever I hit the button, but yeah, I mean, we're freezing. I don't have my heat gun out here. But cut that on in a second. Alright, so I'm just going to have the camera on the tack. We're going to cruise along and see what it does. we are finally making headway. That will have felt much better than before. And that RPM jumped up nicely. I did a couple, launched from 2,000, jumped right up to, I guess, 4,700, somewhere in there. I didn't want to stay out on the road too long of old Mexico. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. I think the car's ready for the racetrack. I didn't see any leaks, which is really nice. Oil pan's a little low. That's still 4 or 5 inches. And rear end's dry too. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time.
Turns on that big red light, 006 red. We'll have the wind over to the right hand lane.